look at YCW now, and I know they're tucking into a massive meal and having a great time, but if they don't mind taking a break for a second, I'll go in seniority, Joey, if you don't mind, and speak to your big brother first, who played 14 games for the Saints. He'll tell us in a second how many games he won while he was at the Saints. He was a very good player for Frankston, a legend for the YCW Football Club as well. Make him feel welcome, Greg Lane, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with us, Greg. Now, you played with the Saints in 1983 and 1984. How many times did you sing the club song after a game?
We played a few winning reserves games at the time, so we sang it then, but never in the seniors, no, unfortunately.
Never?
No, 14 games without a win.
Did you get close?
We did in my first game, actually, at Arden Street. North Melbourne beat us by 6.7 points.
It was a tough time, wasn't it, for the Saints? I mean, obviously it's a great experience to play league footy, but how tough was it for all the players? I mean, Trevor Barker and Jeff Saru, Coggo mentioned before, they played a lot of footy. I mean, not winning during that period, it would have been pretty hard. I mean, you go out and play footy because you love it, but when you're not winning, sometimes it's not that much fun.
That's correct, and of course that was reflected on the training track too. We had some horrific sessions there, but during that period, I think Tony Jewell just took over the coaching at St Kilda, and he'd come from a successful Richmond Premiership in 80, a couple of years before, and he demanded success. And I think it's true to say that we weren't going that well, and Tony really decided to turn us into defenders and taught everybody in the side to make sure they could defend properly, because he just didn't want to get beaten by so many points this game, which was reflected in the forward line, of course the back line, but that taught me a fair bit actually about footy, being a defender whilst being in the forward line, and it was good for me in one way, but certainly it was a negative thing for the club, I think.
No regrets to leave after 14 games in 2 years?
Probably I have a regret. I left of my own accord. Frankston VFA wanted me back. 2 nights training a week compared to 4, living in Frankston and just having the VFA ground around the corner, working down in Dandenong. It was a fairly easy decision, just a couple of young kids as well, so it wasn't too hard. Money was about the same, but looking back I probably should have, not too many people get the opportunity, so leaving of my own accord was probably a bad decision. Yeah. That
was just after the premiership, wasn't it? Luck sort of didn't come your way in your early days. Obviously you had a lot of luck with Frankston YCW, but you went from St Kilda, struggling, to a pretty successful team in Frankston. How different was that?
Oh look, Josh Kendall was in charge there at the time. It was a different place to be. It certainly was. The only bad thing about it was Sunday football, but we sort of overcame that by just cutting down half the beers on Saturday night. So it was all right. But no, it was a different place, different people. It was different. It was very different, really. But success was in the eyes of the players and the coaches and the team at that time.
Well, success is also in the eyes of the players and the coaches at YCW. Why is it such a successful club? Why does it, like the Pines, have such a great culture, Greg, do you think?
Oh, look, I think it stems back to the people in charge, and I'm not talking, I know Serge being president here, not being president of YCW for 6 years, back in the old days. I think it really comes from the coach, though, who you have. We've had some fairly strong coaches around the place, even going back to the Laurie McMahon days and Ron McFarlane's, who were just so passionate and just wanted to drive the players. But you get Josh Kendalls and Bugs Barrys and these sort of guys, and Cappy, who's in charge now. He's just a wonderful guy who just gives the players that opportunity to play and represent the club, and it's they put themselves in good stead. And I know around here at the moment, and it's fantastic. I mean, I've got my daughter playing here at Pines in netball. Emma, her friend, is serving meals. My ex-wife's catering here.
How's that going for you?
It's sensational. my daughter's boyfriend Matt Keeley's out there, and my son's out there playing for YCW seconds. We've got lifelong friends here. You look at Coggo and Serge, Dunny, the Jackos, all that sort of thing here. It's It's not like it's not too far away from YCW at the moment, I'll tell you. I know Waikago Park 200 metres away.
Why's that?
It's just outside the Pines boundary. But
Now, YCW struggled for a few weeks this year. It was something that is a bit foreign after dominating the competition for so long. We're a bit worried that things were starting to get out of hand. They seem to have righted it over the last couple of weeks, though.
yeah, look, I haven't been too closely involved in that side of things in the last few years, but I do know that there's been a lot of injuries, and of course Dunny and Serge can tell you about the VFL representation and all that sort of thing and how you love that, but you never know really from a supporter point of view at the moment who's going to be playing or not until you actually arrive at the ground. But yeah, it's good. I mean, we're still confident that we can make the 5, and if we make the 5, who knows what's going to happen. I was talking to Glennie before. Anybody could win it this year who makes that 5. And it's going to be a pretty good series, I'd say.
It's a great competition, isn't it? So even.
It is, very much so.
Greg, thanks for joining us. You've had an outstanding career. It's wonderful to have you down here today, and may the best team win this afternoon. Obviously, you want it to be YCW. You're in enemy territory, but have a great day, and thanks for joining us. Good on you, Greg. Greg Lane, ladies and gentlemen.